Welcome back, guys, and today we're going to talk about the current Mystic rotation and which ML 5-star you should be going for. Now, this Mystic rotation will be featuring 4 Moonlight 5-star units, and we also have a new Moonlight 4-star unit in Infinite Horizon Achates, who we'll actually talk about after we discuss the 5-star units. So, basically, 3 of the 4 5-star units you can get here are very good. Lionheart Cermia, extremely powerful right now, especially after her buffs, and because everyone is running Navy Captain Landy, Lionheart Cermia is an insane pick into Navy Captain Landy because, as you guys probably know if you fought her, every time an ally suffers an extra attack, counter attack, or dual attack, she will push herself, cleanse herself, and also give her defense and effect resist and fighting spirit, and then she can activate her S3, which does a ton of damage if you build her very well, and she's just a pretty good answer into Conquer Lilius, Navy Captain Landy, anything with extra attacks, counterattacks, and dual attacks, but the most prominent one will be Navy Captain Landy that you're seeing a lot in PvP, and she's very good into those units because she is really tanky, hard to actually kill, and she does a lot of damage. Then we have Silverblade Aramintha. So Silverblade Aramintha, guys, definitely one of the ones you don't want to pull for from this banner. She's the weakest of the 4. She's only really good in control playstyles because she has an AoE stun on her S3 with CR pushback. She has a lot of burns, and you're also going to see that she has CR pushing for herself. The thing is, yeah, control is not that great except for certain units, especially because that Silverblade Aramintha doesn't have a strip. I think if she had a strip, she would be a lot better, or dispel on her S3, but she doesn't, so without that, it's going to be pretty hard to actually make her work. Desert Jewel Basar, very good unit. He is a very commonly picked unit in World's Arena. That's the only area of content you're going to use him, because he's an extremely safe soul weaver that's really tanky with his S3. He has CR pushing, he has cleansing, immunity buff, which is very nice. He also has barrier inversion, which is extremely powerful because all of the meta units, especially the support units, are going to have a lot of barriers, right? If we think about him, you have like Rider Kra has a barrier with his S2. Conquer Lilius has a barrier with her S2. We have Rider Kra, AoE barrier with his S2. Arrow has a barrier on her S3. So Desert Jewel Basar is a huge value pick right now that you can kind of just pick blindly very easily because of his S2 and how powerful it is, and because his S3 is so strong. His S3 is an extremely powerful skill, especially because it makes him a lot more tanky. Because he is innately tanky from his S3, you can actually build him super fast as an opener, which makes him very good. And even his S1 is an extremely powerful attack because it heals all allies and will also have a chance to stun, and the stun is super annoying if it lands for sure. So yeah, pretty decent unit as a support unit. Yeah, you're gonna see him a lot in World Arena, especially in the higher ranks, and he's extremely fun to use if you have him. Next, we have last Rider Kra. So you guys probably see this unit all the time in World Arena. He is probably the best knight for World Arena because of his damage potential in his S3. Not only is he a knight that can hold Aureus and can actually give you a barrier every turn if you get hit by an AoE attack, but he also has insane damage in his S3 that penetrates defense. Also cannot crit anyway, so it's pretty good into Navy Captain Landy. And also Navy Captain Landy will be activating his S2 a lot, and as you guys know, if he gets hit by AoE attacks, the cooldown of his S3 goes down very quickly, so you can get this off a lot of times. And if you have a fully maxed stacked S3, because this will actually do more damage the more you use it, it does a ton of damage, and he's just an extremely safe pick. A lot of people like to pick him with Spectre Tenebria because Spectre Tenebria is weak to AoE, and last Rider Kra is super powerful versus AoE, so a very deadly combo. Also has a S1 that will increase his speed, so he cycles very quickly, resets the cooldown of his S2 barrier, and resets the cooldown of his S3 pretty quickly. And the immunity buff is a bonus. It's very powerful. I think immunity buffs are very powerful right now because there's so many debuffs going around. So last Rider Kra, definitely, if you're trying to get into World Arena, kind of a must-have unit, to be honest, because if the enemy ends up picking Arrow and you don't have Last Rider Kra available, you're already at a disadvantage because Last Rider Kra is going to be super strong. Now, of course, Arrow is also a very good light knight. The thing is, Last Rider Kra is just better in certain scenarios, and he's just a safer pick, in my opinion, because of his damage threat, and you can just pick him and you can deal with Spectre Tenebrius pretty easily with him as well. So yeah, very powerful unit. Not as strong as Arrowell in like Guild Wars defense and arena defense, honestly, but still very good there, and definitely a powerful unit. So out of the ML 5-star units, I think Last Rider Kra is going to be the best if you don't have him. He's kind of a must-have for RTA or World Arena. Very powerful. After that, I would probably recommend Lionheart Cermia. She's very good into Navy Captain Landy. After her buffs, she hits extremely hard with her S3, and she has that CR push now, so it's not awkward when her S2 procs. where she can just like get stripped of her defense and effect resist, because the effect resist buff only gives you 50%. You can still strip it very easily with like an AOL, but now because she has that CR push, she can actually cut AOLs pretty easily and get her S3 off. Lionheart Cermia, extremely strong into anything with extra attacks and dual attacks. Not only is it Navy Captain Landy, you have like Bellion, she's very good against it. She's very good against Valencia, she's very good against Shu, Edward Elric, so many units she's good against, Conquer Ilias, right? Lua even to an extent. Very strong unit for PvP, Guild Wars, Arena, everything, you name it. So yeah, I think she's a very good second. Now, someone else that's very close to that second spot, it can be debatable that Desert Jewel Basar should be higher than Lionheart Cermia, but I think Lionheart Cermia is going to be better in the majority of situations, especially because of the current meta. But I think Desert Jewel Basar is also a very close second. He might even be better than Lionheart Cermia for some players, if they already have a lot of answers to Navy Captain Landy and stuff like that. But Desert Jewel Basar is a very close second, like I said, because Barrier Inversion is so strong right now, and his S3 is a very powerful skill that can push your team, give them that opening CR push that they want, and he's very tanky and can be built very, very fast. Now, yeah, Silverblade Aramintha, very fun unit, don't get me wrong. I think she's very fun to play, especially with trying her out in draft mode. I found out that she is so fun, but she's just not that great and not that consistent, especially because she's lacking the spells, right? So yeah, and also if you get resisted on your S3, you're pretty screwed. So yeah, not that great. I think she is definitely a unit you don't want to go for, but yeah, last Rider Kra for sure, and then Lionheart Cermia or Desert Jewel Basar, up to you. And then if you already have those three, then probably skip out on this banner, right? But yeah, next we have the 4-star unit, Infinite Horizon Achates. So this unit, pretty strong. So at first I thought she was not that great, but looking at her, seeing playing Guild Wars and stuff like that, she's pretty strong of a unit. She has this new mechanic where she will, well, not new, but she dispels buffs or debuffs from all allies and will grant a random buff for each debuff dispelled. So it's basically like a buff inversion, and it's pretty strong. And the reason why she's strong is because these buffs are all very, very good. You even have like Revive, right, which is insane, and greater attack buff and crit damage, right? Pretty much all of these buffs are very, very powerful. So yeah, if you have a lot of debuffs on your team and you use this, you can flip the battle instantly. And the best part about this S3 is you can see when this is available and not you know, on cooldown, she will be getting a CR push by 15% at the end of every enemy's turn, which is crazy. So until you actually need this, you can just spam your S1 and S2, which are very powerful skills as well. I think this S3 mechanic at the end of it just makes her a lot better than she looked like, because her S1 and S2 are very powerful, right? Her S2 is a dispel with a barrier that's pretty thick, and also will CR push, which is very nice for cycling your team. You can basically just use this as like a Amelia S2 push without the attack buff to cycle your team faster. And her S1 is a single target attack with a chance to stun, and for only 10 souls it's 100%, and stuns are very strong, as you guys probably know. So yeah, very strong unit. I think she does need more testing. I don't think she's like broken or anything, but she does seem very strong, especially against debuff heavy teams if you pick her in the right situation against those debuff heavy teams. But yeah, I think this banner overall is a very good banner to pull for. You have a new Moonlight 4-star unit that seems pretty decent, and then you also have 3 units to choose from that are very powerful. Now, if you don't have any of these units, but you really want like Lionheart Cermia because she's waifu AF, then you should just go for waifu over meta. But if we're talking strictly meta, guys, last Rider Kra, and then I recommend Lionheart Cermia. Very close second to DJB, Desert Jewel Basar, and then yeah, Silverblade Aramintha you're gonna want to skip on. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video though, guys. And also, hopefully you guys get lucky with your summons. But if you do decide to pull on this banner, what I recommend is actually skipping this banner unless you guys really want Kisei, and waiting for next week, because next week we have, not because of the 5-star unit and artifact, they're not that great, but mostly because there is Toggel's Ancient Book, and you're not going to really get the 5-star artifact or unit that frequently, honestly. And Toggel's Ancient Book is very, very good. And if you also need like AOL imprints, you have Angelica here and stuff like that. But for the current Mystic Summon rotation, it's pretty bad. All the 4-stars are bad. I guess one just Potion Vial is okay. But the only thing that's good here is like Kisei, which is not even that great, to be honest, unless you like to cleave. And Toggles is very good. So yeah, hopefully this video helped you out, guys. And if you guys do end up pulling on this banner and you guys actually pull some units, let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you guys want to see more updates like this, make sure you like, and also consider subscribing for notifications when these videos release. Peace.